Hi guys, we're going to paint the owl in this video. So to start, make sure you have your canvas all set out and ready to go. You're gonna need your mixing plate with some paint just kind of put on there. You don't need to use all of it probably. You can always add more to your plate as needed. Just make sure when you're dishing out the paint from your little cups, you do it with clean brushes. You don't want to like get your red put on your plate and then go in with your dirty brush to your white cup and get your white, because then you're gonna have red all mixed in with your white. You want to try to keep those little cups of paint clean from the other colors. That way it doesn't ruin the whole cup. So we're gonna, next I'll show you that we need our brushes. You're gonna need a towel to dab them dry after you clean them out with your jar of water. So you don't need a jar, just any kind of cup that'll hold some water. That you can just keep your brushes right in there when you're not using them. And when they're dirty, you just stir them around and clean the excess paint off. So I'm gonna start with my bigger brush and I'm going to do the background. The background color that I chose is like a lime green color. So to make that color, I'm just gonna take a little bit of my aqua on my brush and stir it in with some yellow. And that makes a nice bright green. So a little bit more yellow. And you just wanna make sure you're mixing up enough color to fill in all of the areas for the background. So I need probably twice as much as you guys, just because my canvas is about twice as big. So once I have my green mixed up, just gonna kind of scrape the extra off. That way when I go to add white, I'm not making it real super dirty. So I only got a little bit of white or green mixed in with my white color over here. So the rest of my white is safe to use and won't have that green in it. So I've got this nice kind of light green color. I'm just gonna go in and paint everything around my owl and my branch. So do your best to have nice smooth lines. And you don't necessarily have to use the same colors that I use. I mean, if you want your owl to be maybe green instead of the color that I choose, you could pick a different color for your background. That way your owl can be green. But you don't want to paint your owl green and your background green, because then the whole thing will be green. So you can also, as you work, just add a little bit more white into your color right on your canvas. I just scoop it up with my dirty brush and just blend it right in on top. I'm doing nice long strokes just so I have nice even coat. If I pick up my brush and put it back down, it leaves little marks. So nice long back and forth to try to cut back on some of those brush marks. I'm just gonna keep going all the way around. Maybe a little bit more white in there to help blend it. More white. And I just go back and forth until I get that white blended in with my green. Okay, so I've got that nice even coat of my green all around my background. Very nice. Next I'm gonna do the branch, and I'm gonna make that a nice dark purple. So to make purple, I'm gonna use blue and red. So I'm gonna use the dark blue and my medium brush to mix the color. So I'm gonna take some of my dark blue over here in a clean spot on my plate, and I'm gonna add red to it. And then I'm just gonna stir that up. And right now it looks really dark. It's hard to kind of even tell what color it is. Maybe a little bit more red. But once I get this stirred in, I'm gonna add a scoop of white to it. So just kind of rolling the extra paint off onto my plate. I'm gonna take from the side, the edge of my white piles, just so I don't dirty up the whole pile. I'm just gonna take a little scoop of white, maybe less than that, and stir that in. So this still kind of looks bluish. That's because I have more blue mixed in than red. If you want your purple to be a little more purpley, you can just stir in more red. But this works for me. I like it. And this is my branch color. So I'm just gonna come in and paint my whole branch this nice dark purpley color. I'm gonna take my time on the edges. Come down around his little body, kind of curves. And while you're working with this dark purple, again, just take a little bit of white on your dirty brush, and you can just blend that in. A little more white. Everyone's out there shoveling, scraping all that ice and snow up. It's pretty nasty out there today. So you want just nice thin paint. You don't want thick globs. So if you do have some globby areas, just get them spread out. Keep knocking the easel. Still in view. Okay. Just don't want to knock it out of view. This would be easier if I flipped the canvas, probably. Which I'm going to do. That way I can reach it. Guess I should have finished that side before I flipped, right? And add a little bit more white to even it all out. There. And get it back the right way. And there's my branch. So next I'm going to be working on the owl. And so nice clean brush. And I'm going to be using the turquoise color, that kind of aqua color. And I need to make it a lot lighter. I don't want it this bright. I don't want it quite that bright. So I'm just going to take a little scoop with my medium brush and stir it over here with some of my white. And it's quite a bit of white. And I'm going to paint his whole body except the wings. So I'm going to go around the wing and then just fill in the rest. So his whole, everything in here, this all the way up. Make sure you get your paint spread out nice and smooth. There, I have his whole body filled in. So the wings, I'm going to make a little bit darker color. So it's going to be the same color that we just used, except we're going to stir in some more of our turquoise color. So we want it to be noticeably darker. Might take a couple scoops. So if you see kind of, this is where I started this lighter and now I have this darker. And I'm going to do his wings in this darker shade. See how we can see the difference in color? Same with the other wing. There I have his wings. I'm going to clean out my brush. And I'm going to work on his eyes. So you guys want to make sure this part of your owl is dry. So you're going to take a few minutes just to give that some time to dry. I'm going to go in with my blow dryer just to speed it up so I can move on. Okay, sorry, I know that's pretty loud. Next, I'm going to use my medium or small brush, whatever you have, and I'm going to put circles in just with white paint to do the eyes. So to start, it's just white paint, and they're pretty big. You want pretty big circles. Kind of adjust them as you go. Circles are a hard shape to do, so they're nice and round. Any little wonky bit throws it. So just do your best to do nice big round circles. And another one over here. I want them to try to be the same size. I'm standing off to the side of this, so it's kind of hard for me to see exactly what I got going on, but from here that looks good. Let me try to get, yeah, maybe that one needs to be a little bit bigger. Maybe a smidgy. So there, that looks pretty good. And now we have some nice big eyes. Next, I'm going to paint in a diamond shape for the nose. So this is his little beak. And right in here, I'm going to make a diamond. So I'll start at the top. You're going to want to use your small brush. So there's the top of my diamond, and then the bottom of my diamond. And I'm just going to fill that right in with white for now. We will pick another color later to paint on top. This will just help it show up. So his little beak. While those dry, we're going to go in and give him some feathers. So on his belly, I'm going to use the color that I painted the wings. So it's this lighter turquoise that we mixed up out of the very, very light turquoise. And on his belly, I'm just gonna do like the letter U basically. So I'll do maybe 1, 2, 3. 3 feathers there, and then below, I'm gonna go in between. So there's one here and here. Go in between, and then I can add one that kind of comes, that would be like going under the wing. And just give him a few feathers. I'm gonna use that same color and just give him a few little lines up between the eyes and a few little lines in his ears. So let's see, next, let's use our dark blue color. So I'm gonna take my small brush and my dark blue color, I have it here, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of white to it. So I'm just gonna scoop a little white and stir that in. And on my wings, I'm gonna put a few feathers as well. I'm gonna take the same color and just put a sketchy outline around his wings. Maybe add a few of that color up in these. Cute. Use the same blue, go around my owl's, the rest of his body. So I'm just quickly, just kind of sketchy, not trying to be too perfect, short little strokes. Let's get his little, under his little belly too. There, now our owl has feathers and a nice outline. I'm gonna switch to my medium-sized brush, a little bit bigger, and I'm going to use the same blue. So I need to make a little bit more. Take another little scoop of my blue, my dark blue, and a little bit of white. Stir that in, and a little bit more white. And I'm just gonna add like some texture to my tree branch. So I'll do kind of a loose outline on the edge on both sides. Let me get down here. And then I'm just gonna put some lines in the tree to kind of look like bark. So I'm just giving it a little bit of texture with these little bits of lines. There. So, next, I'm gonna go back in and do another coat of white on the eyes. So just clean brush, go in, and one more coat of white. You're gonna also put another coat of white on his little beak. So that's much nicer. Covers that light blue color a lot better. We have nice big white eyes. Nice white beak. So now we need to give that a little time to dry. And while that's drying, we can add some leaves onto our tree branch. And I'm gonna use a nice green color. So I want it to be darker than the green that we originally used for the background because I need it to show up. So I have my green color that I had made before, which was, we used the turquoise and the yellow, and we just stirred that together. So we have that color mixed with a little bit of white, and that was basically the color we had for our background. So to make this a little bit darker, I'm gonna add some of the dark blue into it. All my paint's running down from holding my plate up to you guys. That's okay. So just a scoop of the blue, and now it's a nice, much darker shade of green. And this is gonna show up very well on top of that background. So with my same brush, I'm going to go in and just add some leaf shapes. So I got one there, and these can go wherever you want. You just make your shape and then fill it in. Maybe one, couple down here. And some can be smaller or bigger than the others. How about one here? And maybe we'll put one here. Can't really get to my canvas right there. I'd like to put one here too. I'll try, get it balanced up there. I'm just gonna have it run right off the side of my canvas. Maybe I'll put some on this side too. Maybe these can be a little bit bigger. So a little bit bigger leaves over here. About two big old leaves. Maybe one big one down here. There. Now we have our leaves. I'm gonna let my paint dry there for a minute. Get my brush cleaned out. And I go in and paint his beak, because that's got to be good and dry. So just give it a little tap, make sure it's dry, and then we can paint on top. So the beak is going to be orange, and to make orange, we're going to use yellow and red. So we don't need a lot of the red. I'm just going to take a little scoop of my yellow over here, close to my red, and then just stir in just a tiny bit of the red. And that makes a nice orange. So I just kind of roll the extra off my brush, because you don't need all that paint on your brush when you go in. I'm actually going to add a little bit of white to this too. So it's almost kind of like a yellowy orange. And just right on top of the white, you're going to paint his little beak. And just try your best to get the white all covered. There. Little beak. And next we'll do eyes. So I'm gonna give him, how about nice big blue eyes? Maybe purple. I'm gonna do purple. Let's do the purple. The same color purple we painted the branch. I just stuck my thumb in my orange. Okay, so this purple, again, to make purple, if you've run out of that color, you're gonna take the dark blue, take a little scoop of that over here, a scoop of the red, stir it together, and then add some white. And you'll have a purpley shade. It doesn't need to be exactly like mine, and it doesn't need to be exactly the same as you did earlier if you had run out. So it can be a little different, it's fine. So for this eyes, I'm gonna do circles inside, and I'm gonna make him kind of cross-eyed just because I think that's cute. So some circles inside, and I left some white on the edge. I didn't go right to the edge. I'm gonna try my best to make them the same size for the most part. One is a little bit bigger. Let me try to just make this a smidge bigger. There, that looks pretty good to me. So I'm gonna give that a little time to dry, and I'm gonna go back to my leaves. I'm gonna take a little bit of the blue color that we use to do our outlining. So it was the dark blue mixed with some white. And I'm gonna go to my leaves and give them just a quick outline. You can also add like a little vein inside of them as well. And that's just a little line. My next step is going to just to put a little bit of an outline around his beak. So I'm going to use this darker turquoise color that we used here. It's not dark like it is without any mixing. It's just this color mixed with some white. And just around the edge of his little beak, I'm just gonna put a little outline. I'm gonna use the same color to do a little outline around the eyes. Next, we're gonna go in and do some white highlighting. So I'm gonna use my smaller brush, and I'll start, I'm just gonna use a little bit of white on my brush. Let's start with it's just gonna be plain white. My plate is kind of a mess, so just look for a nice clean spot of white. And on the left-hand side of his nose, on the orange, I'm just gonna put little line down the side. Inside of his eyes, I'm going to put a little circle on the left-hand side of both, and then a smaller one just kind of right below it. So this, the small circle, then just a little itty-bitty circle. It's a little reflective light. Also gonna add a little swoosh of white on my leaves. Just pick one side. A big old glob. And maybe a little bit on my tree. On my owl, just kind of sketchy on the edges. I add a little to his feathers. I'll do the same to his little belly feathers. Maybe a little in his ears, a little to his forehead, down the side of his head. There, he's pretty cute. So that is the final step of our painting. If you wanted to add more stuff to the background, feel free. Sometimes just adding polka dots, like white polka dots. If you did the panda, I put white dots in. That adds a little bit more interest sometimes. I'm just gonna leave it as it is. I like it. I'm gonna sign my name. I like to sign my name down in the lower right-hand corner. I'm gonna kind of hide it in my tree branch there. So I'm gonna use some of this blue color, maybe with a little bit more white stirred in, just so I can see it a little bit better. I like to add water in with my paint when I'm signing. It just makes the paint flow a little easier, and then it's easier to get your whole name in one stroke. So I like to do it down here. You can do whatever you like. Some people just do initials. I like to do just my first name. Some people like first and last. Also an option, if you have a marker, sign it with a marker. You can sign the back. There's lots of room on the back. You can put the date, whatever you want. And that completes. If you would please take a picture when you're all done. I would love to see it. You can post it onto Facebook and tag Willy-Nilly. That's one way that I will be able to see it. Most of the time that seems to work. Sometimes not so much. Some people are having a hard time getting the tag to work. And then I don't always get notified. So I did add a post to my Facebook wall for Willy-Nilly where you can post all of your paintings. So you'll get to see, there's a bunch of them that people have put on there. You can see what they've put on, what they've painted, and then they'll be able to see what you've painted. So thank you again. I'll see you in the next video.